Welcome.
Welcome.
Wow, I see Larry Santoyo out there on the
Oh my
call.
God.
Welcome, teacher.
Welcome everyone. It's lovely to see faces. If you want to put in the chat where you're calling in from and something you're feeling grateful for today, it's great to hear how global our community is becoming. Just got more and more people arriving. We've got Norway, 2 people from Norway already. Canada. Wonderful. Oh wow, there's 3 pages of people. Amazing. Wow. Okay. Well, it's so lovely to see you all. Or to see some of you, and that's fine to leave your camera off if that suits you better, but it is lovely to see faces as well. So. Wonderful. Okay, well, let's get started. So welcome everyone to our Design Adventures workshop, where we will be sharing some designs from around the world and sharing our design a design adventures library, which has been evolving and will continue to evolve, where we've got examples of designs that have been done mostly by the Group Diploma Adventure, who've been working with myself and Delvin for over the last 2 or 3 years. And so some of those designs are quite small and some quite expansive. There's some of my designs in there as well. And we're going to invite you, if you want to have piece of paper and pen with you and to be thinking about health and well-being design for yourself. So we'll talk a bit more about that as we go through. And yeah, I'd just like to share. I was doing a podcast today and talking about the design web. It was on the Food Forest podcast. I don't know when that will come out, but it's usually they're focused on like designing food forests, and today it was like, okay, so let's talk about more of the social side and personal side. And then the last question I was asked was, if you had a magic wand, what would you do with it? I just like, oh, hadn't expected the question. So on the spur of the spot, I said, spur of the moment, I said, well, I'd love to feel with my magic wand that I could empower everyone in the world to really find their gifts and contribute them and really show up without fear, with full of courage and creativity and curiosity and authenticity. And if we were all able to do that, what a different world we would have almost instantly, if we were able to let go of all the limits and just show up in that way. And then I said, well, but I think actually the tools of permaculture and of cultural emergence and the design web can be that magic wand for people. It can liberate us to really find our authentic self and to let go of limiting beliefs about ourselves that don't serve us and patterns that no longer serve us, and to really live into our visions, to show up and live the lives we want to live in small ways and big ways. So that is some of the ways that some of my dreams for the design web, that we all find our inner designers and feel enabled to do that. So yeah, I'll hand over to my co-host, and then I'll come back and share a bit more about the origin of the design web. And so we'll be, while we're talking today, if you have that in your mind of what would a small health and wellbeing design look like for yourself. And we'll also be hearing shares from people that have been on our diploma program as well. So over to Delvin.
Fantastic. Delvin Solkinson here. I'm calling in from the unceded and ancestral territory of the Kwikwetlam speaking peoples of the Tsleil-Waututh Nation that have stewarded the lands around me since time immemorial. I honor the traditional stewards of this land and aim to live in right relationship with them, with the land, and with the community of life all around me. Oh, Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "A friend may well be reckoned the masterpiece of nature." So welcome friends that we already know and those that we're meeting here for the first time. This gathering is a garden sowing seeds of connection and community. And I'm a longtime student of permaculture elder Larry Santoyo, so I'm really excited to have him on the call today, as well as people from all over the world. So welcome. I'm so glad that you made it. We're here to weave threads of connection. We can really support and strengthen each other on life's design adventures. So yeah, if you haven't already done so yet, please write your location in the chat and we can tune in to just how extraordinary and global this gathering actually is. I wanted to share some grateful welcome to our special presenters today, including Laura Bouwman, Barbara Scheltus, Helena Bohler, Dharlyn Gomez, Susan Cabezas, Grace Solkinson, and also always a special thanks to Emma Gorbett, who's behind the scenes and making a lot of this stuff happen. So yeah, a chorus of gratitude to all of you for hearing the call to join us today. And I'll pass it back to Looby.
Unmute. Yeah, definitely grateful for you all to take a time out to be here today. So wanted to share with you how the design web came about. So when I was writing People and Permaculture, I was translating the tools and principles and design from very land-based systems into people-based systems. And I wanted to do this for the design framework as well and create something that was quite poetic and encompassing of our needs as people. And I was aiming originally to kind of create a poetic acronym. And as I was doing this, as I was playing with it and thinking about it and reflecting on all the different designs and the processes that I've witnessed while I've been teaching permaculture, I realized that it was not linear processes. Like, do your ideas come before your vision? What about the connection between your action plan and reflection or pattern? So it came about that I was on the paper, I was actually weaving a web, and I was like, of course it's not a linear step-by-step process, although that can be helpful for some people to take it step by step, but actually the whole design process weaves in and out of these what I call anchor points, and they hold the design together. They are like the container for all of that thinking. And Delvin's going to put a link in the chat there where you can see the visual of the design web as we go round, if you would like to have that in front of you. And so I was so my origin was permaculture design thinking, and that's where it came from. And including some things in here that are not normally included in design frameworks, like appreciation and pause. Like, how do we bring in that fun and creativity into our designing, and so that is woven into the very fabric of the design. So that the people in permaculture came out in 2012, and then people started designing all sorts of things that I hadn't thought of, and using it in many different ways. And it's always been said permaculture can be used for any aspect of your life, but that hadn't really been talked about or written about, although people had been doing it. But people in permaculture and the design web really opened the door for for everyone to start doing that, thinking about, okay, learning a language, or looking after my elder, other things like courses, and many finding homes has been a popular design topic, including myself for finding applewood. And then in 2016, I came into collaboration with John Young, who many of you will know, many of you won't know. He's a nature connection specialist over in California, and we decided to collaborate and see what was in the space in between, and bring the design web and bring the nature connection together, and to also bring the awareness of culture, and seeing that culture is the thing that's led to many of the problems in the world. So even like the climate crisis is a cultural problem, and so if we need to pay attention to culture and learn what it is, how to shift it, emerging process. So the Cultural Emergence Toolkit has got principles and practices that then started informing the design web. So the design web started to grow and evolve in collaboration and in the context of the Cultural Emergence Toolkit. So then my latest book then is the Design Adventures, which is I think if I web design people think of as like internet design, web page design. So I couldn't call my book The Design Web. So I was like, how do I give that essence of the design as something emerging and growing and unpredictable? Because people-based designs are like that. We don't know where we're going. When you're designing for an orchard, you know that you're going to get fruit trees and you're going to get fruit. When you're designing for your health and well-being, you might think, oh, okay, I'm going to do a morning walk for my health and well-being, and then you start doing your morning walk, and then you start connecting with someone in the neighborhood, and you start talking about this like this abandoned area, and then you think, oh well, what could we do with a community there? And before long you've got a community project, but you started out with your health and well-being design. So all sorts of things can emerge in that process, which is why it's an adventure, because we don't know when we start activating our inner designer and start activating our gifts and really showing up and being conscious about our choices and where we want to take our lives. All sorts of things can unfold, and it can be really exciting. So that's where with the Design Adventures, when I was writing this, I thought, well, there's only a limited amount of space in here to share stories of all these like hundreds of designs that have happened, been done around the world. So what can I do to showcase more of that as well? So there are stories from around the world, and maybe if you're in the book, if you want to put a thumbs up here, you can see there's several people here that you can do it in the react button, and yeah, great. So we're seeing some people here in the book, and then it's like well, I want to actually find a way of showing those designs. So we have been creating the Design Adventures library, which which we'd like to share with you now, and share what which the design. Well, we'll share with you in a minute how you can get access to it. But Delvin, are you able to share the
You
design
bet.
library and show that to people?
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, it's so exciting. We've been working on this for a while. It's the culmination of so many different designers applying the design web in all sorts of unique contexts and scales and bringing creativity. This is the design library, and these are some of the featured designs, which we're starting off with. So you can see there's quite a variety. There's the deep forest desk for designing, bringing nature into the
Could
office.
you, Delvin, could you expand a bit so we can see it?
Yeah, zoom in a little bit.
Yeah,
Is that what you
thanks.
mean? It's set on full screen, right? How's that?
Another one? Yep, and another one. Perfect.
Okay, good. Yeah, now we can actually see it. There we go. Okay, we can look at a few of these here just to see the depth and breadth. We have a self-care for healing back pain from Kyra. There's the deep forest desk, bringing nature into the office, which I actually really appreciated. It affected my ongoing design of my desk space. Um, Luby's finding applewood design is really insightful. I'm looking for a new place to live right now myself. So there's an opportunity to go through and see there's a crowdfunder design from Grace Solkinson who's going to present. There's all these designs that you can learn and grow from. What insights do you get? What do you learn from how other people design? Because there's so many ways to use the design web. And so reviewing how other people have used them might even unlock your understanding of what it's possible to design. See, there's some self-care design in there as well. So you can see on the left column here, there's also a place to share your designs. So there's an ongoing stream of new designs being shared. There we have how to learn a language in a fun way from Barbara Scheltus, who's also going to present today. Um, Touching the Wool is also going to be presented by Laura Bouwman. So there's a place to see other people's designs and to share your own. So we're creating this community of practice where we can inspire and be inspired by each other's designs. There's a reflection space as well, so we can share what we learned about designing, top tips and best practices, golden keys, and really interact and collaborate, make new friends, and be part of this community of practice of people all over the world that are using the design web to design. And then there's a resource space as well. There's the design web handouts, there's a worksheet for handwriting a microgreen design from Grace Solkinson, who's also going to present today. Um, what else about the design library, Luby, would you like to highlight while the website's up here?
Yeah, no, I think you've done a great job. So yeah, so the featured design space is part of the Discover plan, and you can sign up for that free. And then the other spaces you can get a plan you can where you get the Explore plan where you get resources, many of the resources, and the Embody plan where you also get the design live design cafes as well. I think could you actually show in the seed deck? If you go up, no, the other way. Yeah, seeds a piece, the design family there as well. So with the Discover plan, you get all these purple dots here. So if you go to the design family one below, you can see like the design family, the seed deck, which is being translated so far into 6 different languages. We've got Norwegian, Spanish, Dutch. So these are available as free downloads as well. What languages? We've got Italian, Finnish, and Scottish Gaelic in process as well. So that's exciting part of our going global design for the design web to be in different languages as well.
Brilliant. Well, I posted the link up there and we'll review different opportunities to participate in our growing global online community. But today we're celebrating the design web, which is one of many exciting resources and opportunities to collaborate and co-inspire. And I'll take off the screen share and pass it back to Libby.
Yeah, so we'd love to hear in the chat if you've what you've been designed, because I know some of you this is really new to, and some of you have done many designs already. So just to give an example of one design you've done, just to start seeing the range of possibilities here. So if you've used the design web to put in the chat what you've designed, would be great.
That's brilliant. There's
We'll start.
an offer to translate into German. I think there's people are welcome. We're looking to expand the translation team.
Yeah, I think there are people already working on the German translation, and there is a post there where you can, um, yeah, add your name into that and see what's already happening. Sorry, everyone, if I'm freezing. The challenges of I'm not cold, but my video is freezing. The challenges of living rurally.
Yeah, the audio is great, but the video's freezing a little bit.
Okay, so we've got health and well-being design, um, conscious crowdfunder, such an intuitive way to design for human projects. Barbara went big with growing a village. Darling, flow, ease, and grace in transition. From Kim, trying to design my Camino
Nice.
at the moment. Finding my voice. Community farm for the town I live in. Designing my well-being during the course I teach. Designing for self-care. I know people have used it for designing homes, building homes, designing rhythms and self-care practice, designing the action learning path for the permaculture diploma. Wonderful. Learning a language. Oh, I missed another one. Designed an artwork tool for daily practices and rhythms for my brother to use as a guide for his furniture design and building business. Also designed a joyful compass to guide my work as a consultant, and designed a pause too. There's so many uses and shows up in my life as a support so often. Yeah, thank you, Angelica. Georgia used it to design mini art practices to boost my family well-being. From Marco, tested the design web with a group of friends to support each other in our respective personal goals and problems. Designing the week. Yeah, lovely. Oh, more coming in. Designing the year ahead and broken that down into a couple of individual projects. Yes, lovely. So the big designs can be broken down into smaller things. Designing my economy, design for more creative writing one day, designing a school garden. Yeah, so you can start, oh, there's more coming in. Design to offer life coaching program for addicts coming out of therapy. Wonderful. Wonderful. So yeah, you can keep adding to the chat. We'll move on from this. So one of the things that you might be seeing from the chat there is the different scales of designs. So they can be from the very small to the very big full life designs, the year break, like designing your entire life, for designing with other people. But one of the top tips and the things that I get asked often is like, how do I start? And this design is really big and overwhelming. What do I do? So my top tip is to start small and to start with something very boundaried so that you can see the edges of it. And so you can see where your design thinking is having an influence. Because if you design too big, you can't tell, well, is that did that work well because of my design, or what were all the influences? So something like designing for your health and well-being, which we suggested at the beginning that you might like to think about. Well, that's really big and connected with everything, and there's no ending to that. So, one of the ways to make it boundaried and to support yourself to go through a process is to think about just your health and well-being for the week ahead, and to keep it just as a put in this time boundary that supports you in uh, enabling you to do a design, implement it, and reflect on it, and then expand it if you wish to. So in my book Design Adventures, I've got a health and well-being guide that will take you through a design like that. And today we're inviting you to think about that as you hear the other people's design shares, that you that maybe they trigger in for your health and well-being for the week ahead. Maybe there's just a few words and that come up in each of the anchor points. And you've got Delvin, maybe you put the link in the chat again where people can open the link and see the design web image if you're not familiar with it. And to do that, and then we'll come back and do a little bit more after the design shares. But I think we're anything you want to add to that, Delvin, and then we'll before we start our shares.
Sure. Yeah. A couple top tips, I think, is design for something you're already doing, I think is really can be helpful, where it's like you're already going to do that thing. How about take it to the next level? I love that people are talking about gardens and farms and places, and designing for a place where you're already spending tons of time, and you already have spent tons of time can really be helpful for sure. Big designs, sometimes when you do big designs, and Looby talked about this a little bit, you'll realize that there are actually many designs at once, which can be complicated. So if you're going for something big, you might want to deconstruct it into many smaller connected designs. That's the start small and slow principle. So yeah, I had a really profound time just designing this day for more creative writing. I could have said, I want to design my whole life for more creative writing. I want it to be part of everything, but I just actually designed it for one afternoon. And the insights that I got from that process then applied to all these other days too. So there's a lot of advantages to starting small and close to home. Thanks, Libby.
Lovely. So let's start with our design shares. So these are people that have been working with us, designing with us, part of our Group Diploma Adventure. And yeah, we'd like invite them to share their learnings and what they've designed. So I think we're going for you first, Lara.
Yes, hello everyone, calling in from the south of France. I'm going to try to share my screen and you're going to see my design, but I'm only presenting a small part. But you can, if you're curious, of course, check it out in the design library. So let me see, there we go. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, can you see it? Is it big enough? Okay, so I'll hit the 5 minutes timer. So my design is called Touching the Wool, and it's all about my vision that I really want to learn how to create a beautiful and a bit wild wardrobe. So just to set the scene a little bit, I did use the design web of Looby. And what I also did, I tried to design as much as possible outside because I am really having a screen burnout, let's so to say. And also what I tried is to do it by hand. And not everything is done by hand, but I did a lot by hand and I loved it. So I will take you to a sheet, and that is actually what I call a design shortcut, because immediately from my vision, I'll jump to the part of integration of the needs and the anchor point that is very connected to it, which is actions. So for me, what do I need to be able to create a beautiful wild wardrobe? And what do I need to do? So I have been investigating that. And first of all, I need to grow my confidence in doing so. I need to improve some of my skills in doing so. But also, I need it to become more meaningful, way more meaningful than, let's say, fast fashion. So for that, I really wish to connect more with my handcrafting ancestors, like my mother and my grandmother. And what I also need is I really need to get organized. I really need to gain an overview of what do I want to learn? What type of skills? Because there's so many you can do. So I need to gain an overview and have a planning because I can't do everything at once, which is something I normally really like. So it's big. There's big needs, and that will take quite some time. So I was so happy when I found a tool called the stepping stones, and it's very logic that it exists, but I never thought of it when designing. So what I did with the stepping stones, I divided the needs and the learning into phases, different action phases, as you can see in the scheme. Please don't read it all. It's too much for now. However, action phase one is now finished. And what did I do? I did find a local course on wool, washing wool, spinning wool, everything with wool. So my skills in that have really improved. I also bought some reading a book for improving my knowledge about it. And what I also did, I wrote up my story about my memories of my mother and the clothes she made for me and for herself. And I sorted out if I could find still pictures that she's wearing that. And I must say, the meaningfulness of doing this has increased a lot by doing so. I also got a bit more organized, not as much as I want, but yes, I did get a binder. I did get every materials in, so it's a starting point. But as you can see, there's many more phases and many more actions ahead. So now I wish to skip actually to the last slide, which is about the so-called golden bullets, golden nuggets, special name that I learned here in the group diploma. I love that. And first of all, Dawn, try designing outside because nature can take you so much more into a flow than when you're inside behind a computer. I loved it. And I'm fortunate. I live in the south of France, so the weather is also quite good for doing that. The second one is that I did write this design, all the anchor points, the steps of the design, right in the moment. So I didn't procrastinate and shift all the writing up to the end because that's really, head-breaking. That's really exhausting. The one with the stepping stones, I love that. When needs are big, cut them in short parts. And another one, try writing up by hand. My handwriting is definitely not perfect, but the flow goes and just celebrate imperfections. That's no problem. And the last one is while designing for something like me, like wanted to get to know the wool and how to use that, I made just a little bracelet from wool just to remind me and keep going of why am I doing this. So this is my design, and if you want to learn more, you can read it all in the design library. So I'm going to hand over to Barbara, I think, right? Yeah, I'll stop sharing.
Thanks. Yeah, nice. Great to hear. Yeah, my name is Barbara Scheltus, and I'm in Croatia, in Central Croatia. Oh yeah, let's put my timer. I also like to design with pen on paper. And around equinoxes, so late March and late September, I designed for the coming period. And it is the time that you definitely notice the shift in season. And I live on a hill surrounded by forest in the middle of nowhere. So in wintertime, it is quiet and dark, and the days are short, and there is crisp, fresh air, and you hear deer calling in the far distance. And in January, there's snow, and it gets to -15, and we get snowed in, and thankfully we have our larder full of food, and also the garden still has lots of vegetables. And the dandelion wine that I make in spring is ready to drink in winter. So wintertime for me is quiet. I do introspection, I design, and I plan for the year ahead. And then in March, spring is in full bloom, the bees go out, and there is more to do in the garden, and the first camping guests arrive, and in April, the first volunteers come, and I give courses again, and then more and more camping guests, friends come to visit, and it gets super busy. And in July and August, it's like I'm full-time busy outdoors. So you get the picture. Introvert winters where it seems like nothing happens, and very outgoing, busy summers here. So, yeah, therefore, I need to prepare myself with a design for the coming season around the equinox. How do I stay physically fit in winter, and how do I bring light in the darker days, and how do I slow down in summer? What regenerative routines can help me through a busy day? So, one of the insights that I got from these equinox designs came with the patterns anchor point. I realized something really surprising. What I thought was a constant or a personality trait was actually just a seasonal pattern. Like with my body, I crave sleep and nourishment in winter, and in summer I could almost go without food and sleep. I easily jump out of my bed at 5 in the morning when the birds are out in summer, but not in winter. In winter it's 7. So also my motivation or my discipline or my focus in winter, I get things done, no problem. But in summer, I'm constantly interrupted. So it seems like the speed of life is twice as high in summer. And my yes and no threshold is very different in summer and in winter. Or my tolerance for people around. So I have seasonal patterns. And also my values have different effects in summer and in winter. Like joy, it just has a different meaning in the different seasons. Or something like simplicity, it's something I'm really grateful for in winter, and something I need to remind myself of in summer. So, yeah, maybe you can take a second for yourself and see what a pattern is in your life that you treat as a constant, but maybe it's actually something seasonal. So, yeah, now instead of expecting myself to be consistent, I design for being seasonal. And that's changed everything. So, yeah, that was my presentation. Who am I passing it on to?
I think I'm the next one.
Okay,
If
go ahead.
that's correct, yeah. Okay, I will share my screen. And thank you for the opportunity to share this design, because it's also helped me to just to kind of revisit the design and reconnect with it, and see how the learnings have affected me. And so basically, this is the 5th design of my Group Diploma Adventure, where I use the design web framework. And it's also building on another previous design called Nurturing Rhythms of Self-Care, where one of the results or the implementation was 20 minutes of art practice each morning. So with this space of emergence design, I identified the need to balance my to-do list with more unplanned time. And so the need is really for nurturing my connection with my deeper essence, which is more abundance, spontaneity, playfulness, and mystery in life, which is described in this vision here. And the design supported the creation also of an exhibition of my artwork, which you see a picture of here, the result of many years with 20-minute mornings, where I mainly explored the free flow in my artistic creation. So I'll be just sharing some golden keys and not the whole design as such, because it's a bit more encompassing. So here's just some kind of main points as I show you the different golden keys. Activating my artistic expression and listening to intuition of the moment. So during the exhibition days, I had one live piece on the wall where I worked with 20-minute practice day by day, so people seeing the exhibition witnessed the process itself. This was really fun and encouraging part of the implementation, arising from being attentive to shifts, opening opportunities, and acting on my idea to have live pieces as part of the exhibition. It bridged my past experiences with performance art to the desire to not just show the result, but the process itself. So here's the beginning, and the other pictures will follow the process of this creation of that piece in itself on the exhibition. So another golden key was to really embody the tending to my own personal culture and stepping into the light. And by activating my dormant artist, I engaged in my own shadow, remembering and also showing others a natural part of my essence and expression, and the relaxed feeling of self-confidence, especially with the live art performance on the opening night and through the exhibition in conversations, was insightful. It felt really natural to show up and be visible in the context of my artwork. No need for apology or justification. So this continues to be feeling to guide me. And fluidity is another essence, another golden nugget for me at the outset, where I imagined a specific dedicated golden time, a set regular time in my week where I could have space to non-do or for emergence. However, as it unfolded during the process of the design, the golden time unfolded by itself and arose by itself when I seized the moment. And this builds trust for me in emergence, seeing opportunities to integrate my golden time as it arises. And it's also given rise to one of my own principles, discern unwanted distractions from wanted emergence. And emergence as a quality, as a something to that has become part of what I became aware of in this design process, was to create the space for the exhibition. It also created an interactive space where the art and the process of creation was the backdrop of other kinds of conversations and connections that was more than what normal conversations in normal life. The exhibition space created another kind of connection. So bigger than just me and my process, but also invited others in their reflections about their life. So this was also an unforeseen effect and an emergent property. So these golden keys and more activated my deeper connection and playfulness with myself and others, and in this way, the design fulfilled my vision. So also you'll find this design in the design library, as well as a little note in the Design Adventures book. So thank you. I pass it back to Delvin and Looby, I think, now. Oh, stop share.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. That was amazing. 3 shares back to back from diverse people and different countries. And thanks everyone for your reactions and also for sharing in the chat some gratitude and encouragement and insights. Absolutely love it. I'm going to take a lot of this stuff to heart. I've been experimenting a little bit by designing outside in nature by hand. Thank you, Laura. That's been really insightful. And there's been a few designs working on that. And certainly designing and aligning with natural and seasonal patterns is really helpful because things aren't linear. The ebbs and flows and cycles of our body and nature are different. So thank you, Barbara. And yeah, amazing. Have this activate the intuition and artistic expression. Thank you so much, Helena. Those designs all wove in together and connected. I think encouraging a certain type of nature connection, our inner nature and our outer nature. And also you can see they're all about designing a regenerative life, which is a touchstone and I think a core of the design web, that it's providing support for us to design this regenerative life, increasingly regenerative life for ourselves. Any reflections on that, Libby?
Yeah, thank you. I was yeah, so some of the things that appeared for me, I loved seeing them all, even though I was aware of them all before. Just hearing you really essentialize them and distill the wisdom of them is really useful. And to think about them in the context of our own health and well-being designs for the coming week is really useful as well. But I was thinking about the patterns and the seasonal patterns and how that shifts things, and in that time of shifts, how we can use that momentum of transition and to support us. So I think that's really valuable for my health and well-being design. I loved Helena, just the what can happen from this, like this 20 minutes of golden time. It just feels like, and to call it a golden time and just to give yourself permission for that emergence is really wonderful. And I feel like that will come into my my design over the coming week, and see, yeah, what can happen if I just give myself 20 minutes of artwork rather than 20 minutes of social media scrolling or something. What a shift that would do for my health and well-being. And then yeah, so that was very much like tending to our own personal culture, and this is where I can really feel the cultural emergence influence in the design web that we've really supported, looking at our culture. And then going back to Laura's at the beginning, how you were thinking about the lineage of your ancestors and that cultural wisdom that comes through that has been eroded and that you're having to reclaim back again. So like reclaiming parts of our lineage and our ancestral culture is really important. And then for you, it's a big design to think about a wild wardrobe, but then to really sort of like come back to these two needs you have of growing confidence and organization, which I think so many of us would relate to and say, oh yeah, I could do with those two, meeting those two needs more effectively in my life as well. So really thinking about that in in different contexts. So that's part of the integration anchor point, to think about your needs there. So that you might have needs for rest or creativity, but those two needs of growing confidence and organization are probably quite universal needs for us. So yeah, really love that, and I hope that everyone listening, everyone here present, that's able to contribute in the chat, but also people that are listening to the recording, that you're able to start thinking about your own health and well-being design for the week ahead, and how that that weaves in with the the patterns and the the pause anchor point as well, where you're giving yourself permission for rest and creativity and joy. And I love that joy means different things in different parts of the season. Yeah. And different joy in different seasons. Love that. Yeah. So yeah, let's do it. We're going to do a little bit more of our own designs now and play with the principles and of cultural emergence, and then we've got 3 more shares to come as well. So Delvin, do you want to say something more about our health and wellbeing design, and then I'll share with the cards.
Brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. This is a design that really relates to all of us. I feel like most people have this ongoing design for how can I become healthier? How can I generate a more regenerative set of patterns and habits and routines? And we're constantly in this process of like, what are the things that really support us and help us achieve our goals for health and wellness? And what are the activities and actions, kind of habits that maybe don't? Looby mentioned this thing about scrolling social media. So I think we have a lot to learn from each other, which is why this design is so poignant, because the top tips for ourselves for how to live a healthier life may be really helpful for other people too. And some of these are obvious, but often obvious things aren't so obvious. They get surfaced by using the design web and by being in an intentional process of really thinking about them. Otherwise, they're kind of invisible. So we're really surfacing and making these beneficial, healthy habits more visible by designing for them explicitly.
Yeah, so we're going to, I love that. Yeah, the obvious is not always obvious, and that can really show up in our designs. So what we're going to do now is look at the principles anchor point, which, can you all see my principles there? So I'm going to invite you to pick a card. This is a new way of doing this online, to pick a card and put the number in the chat, and then we'll read it out and see how it might apply to our health and wellbeing design for the coming. Let's see, pick a number. Oh, great. Okay, 28 we'll go with first. So we've got this one here, discover abundance. Oh, we've got a few 28s, that's great. So gratitude is a potent path of discovery. Follow curiosity. Discover many ways of knowing. So that one, to discover the abundance of our health that support our health and well-being. Let's see, it's another one where we've got a few. We can play kind of snap here of when we've got more than one person picking a card.
I see a few 14s.
Did you turn? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Was I freezing? Did you turn off my video?
I didn't,
Yes,
but yeah,
I
there we
did.
go. Perfect.
Okay, someone did. Yeah. So I'll go for 26, which is honor the wisdom within. All senses provide information. Every sense holds wisdom. Every system holds wisdom. Use body intuition when designing. Solutions and answers are inside of all of us. So that's yeah, a great one to think about with our health and well-being, to really reflect on the wisdom that is within us. What was the other number that you saw a few of?
Oh, 14. Respond to life.
14. Okay, great. Respond to life. Yeah, have you got it there? Do you want to read it, or?
You bet. I have it right here.
You haven't,
This is,
I'll find
yeah, I
it.
love this one. Sense shifting energies. Dance and flow. Pay attention to what is real. This seems really poignant, isn't it, for the design for health and well-being, giving that extra space to connect with the shifting energies and dance and flow with life and how the body's feeling at different times, how the energy's feeling in the body. And really, what's real is our experience in the moment. So I think it's for the health and well-being, trying to create that extra spaciousness in our life so we're not bound by plans our previous self made too much, that there's space when we need to go outside or have a nap, that we've designed a life for ourselves so we can take care of those needs.
So muted. I see a few number 10s there, so I'll do that and then you can share the next one. So be attentive to timing. Wait for the right moment. Feel the music in your body. Create agreements around timing. So that could relate to even like the creating agreements around timing, like what supports it. Could be agreements with yourself even, of like, okay, I won't go on social media after 9 o'clock at night, or I will wait to check my emails in the morning, or it could be with other people. And yeah, that feeling the music in your body of like what well, what Barbara was saying of that music of spring in your body, what that's calling you to do naturally, and that energy of like, actually, I'm feeling like rest now, and this is what's good. So working with the flows of your body and the timing that suits you. Do you want to do the next one?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I see a few. Oh, I gotta jump to 19. So I'll do 19. This is actually one of my favorites. This is a great process of using the seed deck, using the cultural emergence principles as design tools to offer guidance and insights into this design, which in our case is for health and well-being. So this principle is beauty in completion. The end makes sense of the beginning. Energy is released in completion. A new whole comes into being. And I love this. One of the things I'm thinking in the moment is in breaking down this life design for a healthy life full of well-being and self-care, and thinking about it in terms of how we're going to bring more health and well-being into our life tomorrow, and then do that and reflect on what was learned and celebrate that achievement. So breaking down these larger, bigger goals into many smaller, more achievable goals, and setting up this pattern of completion, this pattern of success, which hopefully is also a pattern of celebration and appreciation at completing these steps every day. So bringing more gratitude and fulfillment into every day. You want to do another one?
I was hearing the completion.
Oh, you're breaking up a little bit.
The cultural emergence principles.
There we go. You just got it. I think you're back.
I'll turn my video off. Sorry about this. Yeah. You can get access to the Cultural Emergence Principles colouring book if you want to carry on exploring them, and if when you sign up to our newsletter or to the Discover plan. But let's get some inspiration again now from our other designers, our global designers. So I think Dharlyn and then Susan.
Thank you, Looby, for this opportunity. I will share my screen. Can you see this, please?
Yeah, that's working great.
Yeah, that's working. Yay! So This is 2 months volunteering in the Philippines when I was there 2023. And I use the design web for this design. So I volunteered with a cooperative in the Philippines. They also have a organic farming school, and yeah, and I tried to share the design web with the community, and this is my this design was um started with a like a microgreen design, like a upcoming week. So this is the start of this design. So the first anchor point of design web is a vision. So by embracing this vision anchor point, we not only set a course for our actions, but also infuse them with purpose and meaning. It becomes a source of inspiration, propelling us forward even in the face of challenges and uncertainties. As we navigate the design process with our vision as our compass, we are reminded of the profound impact that our intentions and dreams can have on a shaping and reality of the world around us. So that's the vision and the limits. Yeah, so the limits, you may read some of it there. And my reflection about the limits is how this limit I can refrain and be help to this design. And then the helps. So this anchor point I shared and contributed to the design adventure book. And really it helps me by cultivating a mindset of gratitude and appreciation for the interconnected web of support and resources that sustain us with not only more abundance and help, but also deepen our connection with others and the environment. And then the patterns. So I embodied this pattern, the 8 shields, and really really helps me for the 2 months stays at the farm. By consciously engaging with this pattern, I am not only establishing a sense of order and predictability, but also cultivate a deeper sense of connection and purpose. So ideas. So what are the activities I can share and we can learn together. So great to be with these different students, high school students that they have a 10 days immersion on the farm. So at one point of time, there were 90 students. So it's so really fulfilling. And the principles. So my conscious decision to follow these principles have guided my design process. After 2 months of volunteering with the Cooperative Learning School, I witnessed the transformation of landscapes and meaningful connections with people that have touched their hearts. And then the integration is what are those needs and how can be met and how the design put together. So meeting these needs requires positive effort and continuous learning. Stay curious, seek out resources, and be open to new experiences. And then the action. So the action, it was lots of activities, and I don't know already what I should be, what is the design is really benefiting me. So I have this slice of the cake that I took on the role of project manager, facilitating, supervising, and coordinating the work of college students. So I thought I've been like going all around the place, but I have through this anchor point, I realized, oh, this is what I am really doing here. So, and thanks to Looby too for making me realize. And then the momentum, how this project will gonna be maintained, and then the appreciation of anchor point. This is really so important in this process. Like recognize profound connection to the helps anchor point, where abundance is unveiled through a lens of gratitude. And the reflection anchor point, I asked some of the students to reflect on what they had experienced while I am there at the school. And pause is so important. I always in the process, pause is intricate on my like a natural cycle of the day. So it really helps. And thank you. I will stop.
Thank you, Dharlyn. You're getting lots of hearts there and some comments in the chat. Have we got Susan here?
Yeah.
Yes, here I am.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Looby and Delvin, for inviting me to share today one of my designs. I will try to share my screen. Can you let me know if you can see it?
Yeah, it looks great.
If I scroll, can you also see it if I'm moving it?
Yep.
Oh, perfect. So this is my design number 9, and it's called Surreal because I try to gather all my permaculture learning process. Sorry, I'm just adding the timer. Into one platform. So I call it surreal because it's really surreal for me, the process, how I became a designer for something that was totally unexpected to me, to what I became, or I feel that I'm now. So really the vision for this design was to connect all my permaculture designs during the process of the Group Diploma Adventure. And also because all of them were very diverse, from micro designs to landscaping designs, collaborative designs, and self-care. So I was trying to find some sort of patterns and see how I can weave them into one place. That's what I decided to use this platform, and I just gather like a small library as well, all my designs from design 1, as you can see them there, to design 8. And the platform itself is one more design. So the design process, I use part of the design web mostly, and I use the 4 phases. So I divided my process into growth, exploratory, productive, and reflective. So each of them has the different anchor points. Oh yeah, you can see a lot of trees here because I use the pattern of the trees. Since I started with the diploma, I decided to take images, to take pictures from the same trees from the place that I live right now for over a year. So I have an entire cycle of nature just by looking at the trees and how how they change over time, depending of the year. So here we have my vision and what helps me are along the way, also some limits that I can still find on my own process to become a designer. Then you can also find here the seed of the growing with some patterns, some of the ideas of how I was envisioning this platform to look like, and then the principles that kind of guide me during this design process. And then more in the productive phase, the integration is here in terms of what were the needs and how I try to face them and overcome or change it into to solve it somehow during the process. It's always when you are doing designs in an iteration process, you find things that you have to come back, and it's like a live design. It's not something that you just follow some steps and it's done. I think that is really good to allow yourself the time, the pause, and the rhythm, especially if you are doing a more personal type of designs to address your own patterns. And then actions and the momentum that keeps you, the flow. And then more the reflective part, that is the appreciation for the entire process in general. And as I mentioned, the moments of pause. And the trees, well, I don't know if you can see them, but this is the kind of the same tree, one of my favorite ones, along the year. So you can see from January and how different it is from July, and then October, November, December again. So you can see the cycle and the pattern there and that resonates with how I felt during this process, because some moments I was really in January, like with no leaves, no ideas, a bit stagnant, really just to be more inside of myself. And there were moments of more productivity, being more outdoor, doing collaborative designs, sharing more, and then moments also of coming back to a different rhythm. So that's what I found personally, that using the trees was really inspired and really kind of helped me to guide this design. So I think this one is part of also gave me all the process just to finish my last design. That is more the reflective element, because I had to go back and look at all my previous designs for the last 2 years. So with a fresh eyes, and I think now I kind of processing all the experience and the learning and the lesson learned, and now I'm kind of ready just to finish the diploma after 2 years. So that's another big momentum and milestone. I think that I'm done with my 5 minutes. Thank you so much. Did I stop sharing or here?
Wow, wonderful, Susan. Yeah, let's travel over to Grace for the next share.
Yay. Thank you so much. So I'm going to share about a project I did that was inspired a lot by my journey with the Group Diploma Adventure, now becoming the new Cultural Emergence Collective, which I'm very excited about. And it was inspired by a lot of times when we were talking together and people would say, "Oh, I love designing. I'm so tired of sitting in front of the computer." And also, some of my students outside of the diploma journey would be telling me that they're like all the different elements that were required of the design could be a little bit overwhelming to remember and incorporate. So I thought, let's make this use Looby's idea for a microgreen design, but make it into an easily printable, portable worksheet. So I did a design on designing a worksheet, using the worksheet to create the design. So I'm going to share first. I'll do my desktop. So this is my filled out version, hold on, of the microgreen design worksheet. So you can see that I used the worksheet itself in the creation, but instead of going through that with all the writing on it, I'll pull up the empty ones. You can see what it would be like to use the worksheet. So some of the things that I thought about in the design process were how to make this really accessible. So a lot of my designs feature a lot of art and are really colorful, but I wanted to make this so that you could print it on a home printer and it wouldn't take up tons of ink, and it would fit on a regular size sheet of paper, and that it would include all the elements of a diploma level design designed around the design web worksheet. So it includes room to remember the ethics, the design brief, starting out with vision, because that's where I like to start the design web. But because the design web is such a fluid system, you can start on any page of this and still end up with an amazing design. You go through, I included a few tools that I thought were really helpful. The first one being observation, which I put next to helps, limits, and patterns, because that's when I really think about observation myself. But you could also substitute a different tool. And I left the principles area blank because there's so many amazing principles. There's the cultural emergence principles. There's so many permaculture principles that I thought there's too many to choose. Every design kind of lends itself to different principles, but I left room for the principles to be included and room to discuss how the principles are influencing the design. And then another tool I put in there was needs-based design. So you could think about the core needs of the design. I put that next to the momentum, integration, and pause anchor points. But again, this can be done in any order. And then implementation always has a little bit of extra space. So I put in a nice big chunk area for the implementation, evaluation, and then use the permaculture tool roses, thorns, and buds, which I almost always use during my reflective period, and a little room for appreciation in there. And then because there's so many different elements to reflect on during the diploma level design process, I wanted to make sure that all of them were right in there, including the area for the summary. So this is just something that I put together hoping it would be useful for other people, and it is in the design library. So if anyone's looking for a way to like just take some worksheets outside and think about things in a microgreen process, I hope this can be helpful for you. It really made me think about how I personally design, to be thinking about how to make it concise. And I also encourage you to make something like this yourself if there's a way that you think it could be done differently. So that's my share, and I will close this out if I can. Let's see. Thanks so much for giving me the space, Looby, and amazing to be designing with the design web.
Yeah, amazing. Let me know if I'm freezing again, but I'm going to try with my video
You look
on.
good.
Hmm?
Looks good. It's all working.
Okay, great. Well, yeah, amazing. Another three incredible designs, and yeah, it's just really wonderful to hear them. I love. There was a theme in there of sharing and of leadership and of growth. In all of those, and sort of contributing. So Dharlyn, like becoming like a project leader and sharing with 90 high school students, just amazing to do that. And then Susan, with your like the design ecosystem that you've created there, and to really hear that journey from like starting really small. And I know you started with designing your week ahead, and you were like, I've been doing it every week for like 10 weeks, and that's the story that we've shared in Design Adventures book and is in the design library. And then to see how so that small seed has grown so into the big tree, and so I love the acorn into the oak is like part of what you've then shared in your final design to bring that all together. And I love, you know, what you were sharing about it being an iterative process, that it's never complete. There's always more patterns or more appreciation or more limits that come forth as the designs go forward, which I think can be one of the challenges of like when is a design completed, because it's never completed, there's always more. But you've managed to overcome that challenge, and I think possibly because you've been doing the week designs, and so you've been seeing that round of completion so frequently, that you have that sense of what a complete design looks like and how you can move forward to another design. And then Grace, for you to essentialize that into a microgreen like worksheet that is just really useful for other people, and you know, to distill it in, to bring it into such a simple design that that can be then shared and used for so many people to learn, that is really valuable as well, and showing that that way of facilitating and leading by producing resources for other people to share, and enabling other people on their process. So yeah, great. Another 3 great.
Yay. Well, clearly every design has so much to teach us and other people. And you can go into the Cultural Emergence Design Library and read these designs in full to deepen the learning. You got a little taste, and maybe there was one of them that really called to you, and you could go through and explore those if you join our Cultural Emergence community. Dharlyn, yeah, I was really inspired to see you aligning the design web framework with John Young's 8 shields, and like synergizing different principles and tools and frameworks together. There's a lot of creative room to play with design tools and frameworks to surface your own. So I love Dharlyn's be proactive as a principle in there too. So thank you for demonstrating this, the synergy that you can create by bringing different tools and frameworks together. And Susan's was also about that, wasn't it? Connecting different things together, creating whole systems. I was thinking of the cultural emergence principle, weave unity, and how the design web and the phases of the design web, growth phase, exploratory phase, productive phase, and reflective phase, can help to organize the design process. And Susan noted about doing that slows it down and gives more space to bring in more intention, creativity, insight, and direction. So that was brilliant. And in a similar track with the thread of connection, Grace helping to organize the design process, make it more accessible. I love that invitation for people to do that themselves, is to take the design web in your own way, or another framework or set of tools, and create an externalized process, a container, even in your notebook, handwritten, that can kind of guide you and prompt you. And so you can do that and that's help collaborate with other people too, make it clear, externalize it a little bit. So I thought that was really brilliant. So thank you so much for those 3 designs, all 6 designs, and really interesting to see the similarities and differences between people's approaches to using the design web. Looby?
Yes, so we will have a chance for question and answers, but I just wanted to share with people about the how you can get access to different things and what you can get, so so that you know where you can go and what your next steps are. So firstly, so we have these different plans available on the online community, and the first plan for free is the Discover plan, and you get access to the featured designs, and you get the Cultural Emergence Taster course, and you can get the PDFs of the seed deck families in different languages. So loads of amazing resources you can get for free with the Discover plan. If you want to go further, and then you get access to like Grace's worksheet and more spaces to share designs and more reflective materials, and yeah, a lot more, you can go for the Explore plan, which is just I can't, it's a few pounds a month. And then if you wanted to go even further on your cultural emergence and your design journey, you can go for the Embody plan, which also includes all of that, plus 2 live design cafes, which a month, which you can choose from going to one or both of them, and those are held by myself and Delvin and Emma and Barbara, and there's some people, we've merged the diploma journey with the people that have been sharing here today. We've merged it with the collective, so we have a even bigger global diverse group, and there's some people in the group who are working towards their diploma, their permacultural diploma, some people who are designing in their own lives but not producing designs. There's some people that have completed their diploma.
And if that's
So
say,
all,
this is the download.
Delvin, you're not muted.
So, sorry.
And there's lots of, so there's a whole range of people to learn from, and range of experience in designers. But what we're all keen to do is to increase our design skills and to empower ourselves and find more tools and to support other people, and to to really wave that expand our design skills. I was wondering, Barbara, if you wanted to share something about.
Yeah, I think this collective is really nice. With the 2 times a month we have design cafes, and it's so nice to work with beginners and more experienced designers, because there's always so much to learn from others. And what I really enjoy is to look with fresh eyes, to honor the beginners' minds, and to work together with people, like not only with Looby and Delvin and Emma, but I also have designed together with Laura and with some other people. And many minds are better than one. That's one of the principles, and it's so true. So I really enjoy the collective, because it's people who want, let's say, a better world, and they take responsibility for it and they design for it. And there are people who understand cultural emergence, and that gives a great connection. Yeah. Back to you, Delvin or Looby.
Or Emma, would you like to say anything about the collective?
Yeah, I really enjoy the feeling of community when you bring together people who've got the same common purpose, like Barbara was saying, of creating a better world, but also that by coming together, there's so many ideas and exploration that come from coming together, that kind of emergent properties of people working together with cultural emergence, creating designs. I really enjoy the accountability, because you're there, you can go, oh yeah, we've done a design, I can share how that's going. You can reflect after the calls as well about things you've learned in there, share your successes, and have those celebrations, which are all really important when you're trying to bring something into your life and embody it, which is why we call it the Embody plan, to embody cultural emergence and design in our life as an everyday practice, as well as working on diplomas and doing those other bits. So yeah, I really highly recommend it, and yeah, do come and check it out.
So that's some of the ways that you can continue your journey, and of course, with my books as well, which we'll put a link into that. Yeah, I'm wondering, we've got some space for some questions and answers, well, questions and hopefully answers. If anyone has a question or a reflection on the sharing, and then we'll revisit our health and wellbeing design for some next steps. So, does anyone have a question they'd like to ask or a reflection that they'd like to share? I know there's some things in the chat. I saw someone from Sydney. They've had to go now, but they said didn't know what I was getting myself into signing up for this. Had no idea that it would be exactly what I needed to hear today. So, yeah, that's great reflection. Anyone else got a question? I think there was a question earlier I saw about whether to start with designing for a physical space which has very clear physical boundaries, or a routine. And I mean, briefly, either set design could be useful. So with the physical space, it depends how big that physical space is as well, and there's different tools that you can use for that. With the routine, it can be useful to boundary as well. So like having a time boundary is another way of bringing a boundary in. It's kind of, where is your interest? I think this is always really important, and a top tip that Delvin shared at the beginning of like designing sort of things that might be happening anyway, and that where your enthusiasm and motivation and momentum and curiosity is. Delvin, do you have a question on an answer for that question? And then we've got some more questions.
No, let's move on to another question. I think we have deciding on the topic theme for a final project with students. Yeah, it's great. Participatory design is incredible, and that's what we've been exploring with the Cultural Emergence Collective. We're deconstructing this idea that doing designing is something you do sort of on your own late at night in front of the computer, and opening up this idea that designing is something you do in collaboration with others, like outside and in your life, and using it as a tool to make decisions together and deepen your relationships and create opportunities, create space for opportunities to emerge through creative collaboration. So I think deciding on a topic theme for a final project with your students is great, is welcoming people into the process from the start. So Meg says, outside is calling. Awesome. I'm so glad you're here, Meg.
Yeah, so doing microgreen designs with the group. So I think when you're designing with other people, there is a whole other set of things to think about, and you need to get people's cooperation with, and like help everyone to feel some ownership over the design. And one of the things with that is that with doing a microgreen design can be really helpful, so that everyone has that sense of knowing where the boundaries are and being able to focus on a particular aspect. Because when you do a design with a group, all sorts of hidden dynamics can come forth that can be helpful, but can also be unhelpful. So to be able to choose a small supportive boundary design can be really help the whole group feel like it's a useful, beneficial process. So let's return to our health and well-being design, and let's just take a moment. I think maybe it's a moment. I'm just going to invite us all to just settle into our bodies and to just vision for ourselves our health and well-being over the coming week. And then when I finished, I'll invite you to just share 3 words, or maybe even just 1 word, of the quality that you'd like to bring into the week ahead. So I'll turn my video off. I'll invite you all, if you're comfortable, to close your eyes or just to soften your gaze, and just to take some deep breaths. Just feel your breath really expanding your body. And just imagining yourself at the end of the week, the end of this week, and feeling grateful for yourself for having nourished your health and well-being, for supporting your physical needs, your emotional needs, your needs for fun and creativity. And just feeling grateful to yourself for the limits that you've overcome, any unhelpful patterns that you've managed to untangle, even if it's just a little bit. For those golden times of pause or creativity that you've brought in. And just feeling very grateful for yourself, grateful for your body, grateful for your mind, grateful for your spirit, grateful for your collaborations that you have, your friendships, I'm grateful for the more than human world, the bird song, the trees, the earth beneath your feet, the sunshine and the rain. I'm thinking if there's 1 word, 1 or 2 or 3 words that really encapsulate the vision you have for yourself, for this, your health and well-being for this week ahead. And just slowly, when you're ready, giving yourself a little stretch and a shake, and coming to and putting those words into the chat. And just, if you've got 3 words, we can let's read them out as they come in, and we can just feel them as this collaborative poem of health and well-being for us all. Joy, ease, creativity, trusting, decisive intuition, balance, harmony, joy, nature connection, calm and joyful, pause, calm, connection, joy, nature, balance, unburdened, rested, connected, slow down, creativity, rejuvenation, care, beauty and completion, refine routines, happy, accomplished, loved, calm, homemade, joy, awareness, spontaneity, simplicity, grown up, playful, mother, 60 this week, happy birthday, focused, artful, collaborative, reconnection, organisation, completion, inspired, power, resilience, honesty, tree time, rest, stillness, clarity, connected, wild, peaceful, togetherness, stretching out to my hometown. Flow, generous, grateful. Easefulness, grounding, light. Kindness, expressivity, staying. Intentions, invigorate, rejuvenate. Centered, grounded, love. Calm, balance, trust. Play, connection, focus. Calm, grateful, playful. How beautiful. I think that deserves some hearts there, doesn't it? That's yeah, beautiful co-created health and well-being. And then that's one of the beauties of having those 3 words for yourself. Maybe you want to go and spend your 20 minutes golden time making something beautiful with your words, to put them up on your wall, to keep yourself reminded of those things during the week. And maybe there's be an opportunity that comes up for some play or some nature connection or some expressivity, some flow, all of those things that might come up, those opportunities that when you know that's your vision for the week, that you have that chance to follow that and make that vision come alive for yourself. So yeah, I would really love to hear from people as well, how you get on. So do share. Well, we're coming close to the end of our time here. Maybe we'll just give everyone a moment to just think about and to write in the chat something you're taking away from the call, and a next step you might have. So some moment of insight or inspiration that came your way, maybe from the shares, or maybe doing your own design, or something Delvin and I have shared. And yeah, I'll just give you a moment to do that. So should we read some of these out, Darwin? I could start.
Sure.
So from Fee, to design outside. I'll read a few and then I'll hand over.
Oh, perfect.
From Barbara, taking away some inspiration and the next step to redesign my morning routine. Excited to dive deep into all the design shared in the course. So much creativity, imagination, skill, really inspiring. Thank you all.
Maybe I'll tag in. You're breaking up a little bit, Looby.
Draw more, not just write. And for me, okay.
Okay, I'll represent Looby here. Carry on with my health and well-being for the week design, and do that outside. Also designing 20 minutes of golden art time. I love that, golden art time. Let's all have some golden art time today after this call, outside. Inspired to take more photos, Helena. Thank you. Susan, sharing an inspiration. Oh, 20 minutes of golden time a day. Let it be so. I said the power of community, and my next step is participate in more global online design gatherings like this, because this has been nourishing and inspirational. Laura, finish my micro design for a more nature connected day. I'm on the path to there. That's a good design for me too. Angelica, inspired to find connection and inspiration, knowing all of you are creating and weaving with these ideas in so many places. Decisiveness for my creative projects this week, whole and embodied. Fantastic, Angelica. B, take time daily for creativity. Yes, that's what I'm working on as well. Kirsten, idea for a design fitting to my personal culture. Yeah, that's great. Make it bespoke, cater it to you exactly. Rebecca, thinking more globally to connect with like-minded people around the world. We have 20 countries represented here, and if there's any not on that list, maybe I'll post it again after this. Feel free to throw it in there. Richard, being more than doing more. Yeah, being more. Let's be human beings. Stu, I like the idea of working with seasonal flows of the body. Yeah, that was great. Thanks for sharing that, Barbara. Sabina, designing a flow for homework from courses I'm taking. You can put this design energy anywhere and create effective patterns for getting things done. I love that. Isa, inspiration to use design in my daily life and the value of invisible factors. Yeah, absolutely. Design surfaces the invisible, makes them visible. Georgia, I'm so glad you're here today, Georgia. Wonderful reminders of some very grounding principles. Aligning with seasons, being outside whenever possible. Also, so heartening that so many across the world are designing so mindfully. That's right. This is a community of people really bringing intention and mindfulness into their practice. Kim, I'm so glad you're here, Kim. Thank you. Share the principles even more with my sons. That's great. It's a family activity. Bring it into your relationships. Had a massive success story with my Messiah son by talking to him about beauty in completion. How fun. His room and the kitchen surface have never been so clean. All right, Kim. Good work. Laura, using the microgreen design framework to design outdoors, my birthplace. Oh, wow, that's powerful. Alina, a take with me is what is my seasonal patterns? Yeah, we can all look into that for ourselves. Discover surface, but not visible things in my life and a feeling of alignment. I'm so glad. Yeah, I'm feeling a lot of alignment right now too. Fantastic. Great shares, great intentions. I feel like we have a bunch of momentum that we can carry with us beyond this workshop today.
Yeah, that's a really quite inspiring hearing all of those and to think about that in as each one was coming up I was like, oh yeah, that me too, me too on that one. So yeah, really wonderful to hear that. Yeah, well, we're coming to the end, and I invite you maybe we've got a bit of spare time, but we'll close our call together, and then if anyone wants to stay behind and just have a little chat, they can, or if you want to go off and do some more on your health and well-being design, that will be wonderful. Yeah, we'll put some links in the chat which you maybe want to open before you go off. So you can know where to get books and where to find the community and where to join, like find the design library and things. So that will be, that will be great. Delvin, do you have a quote to then close out, and then I'll do our final closing?
Fantastic. Yeah, I had a little drop. That's okay, like a couple minutes here. I wanted to share additional gratitude for all those design insights from Laura Bouwman, Barbara Scheltus, Helena Bohler, Dharlyn Gomez, Susan Cabezas, Grace Solkinson, and special thanks to Emma Gorbett, the force behind the scenes. I'm glad she appeared today. So thank you so much to our collaborators for joining us here. Yeah, this is reminding me really that designing is a practice. The benefits and yields are pretty immediate. So taking your decision-making process, with all its intuition, spontaneity, inner wisdom and creativity, and adding some structure and like writing up designs by hand, maybe outside in nature or on the site you're designing. Maybe bring this to the computer afterwards if you want. So I have a quote about that from the Design Adventures book. Those are my closing quotes. Looby, I have two from the Design Adventures book. Looby writes, on paper, we allow the design to do the talking. We become the listener. The invisible becomes visible. Our blind spots, limits, and hidden patterns are revealed. With other people, having it written up gives accountability and a reference for decisions and actions. So I really love that. And then coming together in community to collaborate and co-design is such a profound and regenerative activity. Certainly, I find it uplifts and supports and motivates me on my many design adventures. So I have another closing quote from this Design Adventures book from Looby that just came out, which I think there's a link in the chat for. There is a collective design spirit that emerges where there is greater wisdom, enthusiasm, and potential. So yeah, thanks everyone for coming together to connect in this creative community. And we invite you to step deeper into the cultural emergence community on Circle Space, in online courses. And there's also a bunch of in-person courses at Applewood for those with capacity to go and learn directly in person from Looby. And yeah, thanks again, Larry Santoyo, for joining us. What an honor. And yeah, thank you, everyone. I'm so grateful to be here. Back to you, Looby.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, look forward to seeing you all again. And yeah, yeah, sorry if we didn't make that clear. The Group Diploma Adventure has now become part of the collective. So if you join the collective, you'll be with the other people, some of whom are doing their diploma and some of who are not. But Mel, maybe Delvin, you want to drop your email in if people want to ask more questions about that. There you go, great. Yeah, and if you would like to join me in person at Applewood, we have the Peace course coming up in June, which is just like really embodying the nature connection part of this and really tools for life, and the ACE course in July, which is learning the whole toolkit and coming to grips with what culture actually means and what that means for us and supporting us. So those are opportunities there that you can follow, and so I'll just put the link in there so you can find that out. And we've got a summer energy offer at the moment as well, so you get 10% off those two courses this week. So yeah, would love to have you there. And let's close out. So just going back to our idea then of our magic wand, and we've just been gaining all this inspiration here, and I'd like to invite you all to unmute and then I'll just gather up this energy that we've been gathering and that has been coming at us from all over the globe. So yeah, unmute if you can, and then we'll send this big whoosh out and to all the places it needs to go in the world, to like sending this wave of peace and empowerment and courage and design energy. And on the count of 3, we'll do a big whoosh. So 1, 2, 3, whoosh!
Whoosh.
Wonderful. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Maraming
everyone.
salamat.
Bye.
Thank you.